As I was saying, communication is a is an essential. Let me just put it that way. Is an essential. Communication. A lot of things are contingent on you being able to communicate properly, being able to communicate effectively, right? And we're going to be looking at quite a number of things today. I'll try to not dwell so much on the slides. I just want to really speak and interact with us. I think that will work better. So, two things. Let me just start this way. Um, have you ever been in that place where you're talking and in your head you are actually saying a lot? You are saying a lot, you are communicating, breaking down things, and people are either not hearing you or they are misunderstanding you, or maybe what you are saying is completely misunderstood. Or maybe you are asked to speak in a place and then you stood up and then you are trying to talk and everybody is just doing whatever they want to do. I mean, everybody is just carried away with whatever else they are doing. Or you are asked to come speak before a group of people and then you have heart palpitation. Your heart is just palpitating, palpitating. Um, One way or the other, I'm sure some of us have found ourselves in either of these places where you are required to communicate. Even if you're not required to speak in public, you will find yourself in places where you need to actually um, you need to actually interact with people, right? You need to interact with strangers, you need to interact with people you do not know, right? And those moments are defining moments in our life. Those moments are defining moments in our life. The friends you are able to make, the connection you are able to build, the relationship you are able to form, and how you are actually able to communicate your emotions to people, those are what happens at those moments. So it means that if, I mean, whatever you're doing in life, you just need to know how to communicate. Yes, last week we spoke about financial intelligence and how that relates to life. I mean, finances properly, but realize that communication is like a bedrock of most of the other things we're going to be talking about. We'll be talking about emotional intelligence, we'll be talking about quite a number of other things too, but communication is quite important. And real communication is not just about making talks. You're just trying to talk. Real communication is actually ensuring that people understand you. Real communication is when you are able to influence others by what you're saying. And when I say influence others now, I'm not just talking about I'm not just saying, oh, you want to convince other people to believe in your own opinion or follow your own trajectory. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that people can actually see the logic in what you're saying. And because they see the logic in what you're saying, they can actually go along with you. So communication is your superpower, so to speak. So let me start with a little about myself. I'll have probably want us to play some games and do all that, but we actually don't have time. So I'm just going to run through this. So this picture is like was taken in like 1872 thereabouts. You can see that it's black and white. This is me, very, very archaic and old. Actually, this picture is a couple of years back when I was in primary school. So in secondary school rather, I was made the school labor prefect. That was going to be my first experience into. I mean, I was called out on the assembly. You can see my face. I was actually like, I mean, I don't, I don't want to do this, you know. So growing up as a teenager, interacting with people and public speaking is my major fear. Like I am very, very afraid of it, very, very afraid. So I'm your very classic timid, introverted kid. And then when we progressed to senior secondary school, SS, I was also made the head boy, and it's kind of like I don't know. I went to keep this picture somewhere so that at times like this, when I need to talk about this, I'll actually make reference to it. This is the head girl over there, Rike. And One of the things I used to do was that as the head boy, I always run away from assembly. You know, head boy, you go to the assembly, you wave your hand at people, you talk, you are like the school influencer, so to speak. But my own head boy was, you know what? I'm just going to, I mean, it's not that I can't talk to people, but I am actually afraid to talk in front of plenty people. It's scary. Do you understand? And I am saying this because I know that for some on the group or on the call, this might be um
Okay, so while we wait for our tutor to come back, um, the fact that I was the head boy, I hope you can all hear me. Let me confirm if you can all hear me.
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you, ma'am.
Yes, we
Awesome,
can.
awesome. So, like when you talked about being called to the assembly ground, and then you are trembling, you don't want to talk, you don't know how to address people, and you don't even know what to say, you're shy. That's the reason why we're having this conversation, because communication is so powerful that it can reflect um your values, it can reflect what you want and what you don't want. And even in the heart of communication, you need to know how to say it. You know, people say that it's not what you say, it's how you say it. There's a way you can say no in a beautiful way. There's a way you can say yes. There's a way you can say no, but your body is saying yes. So like there's a contradiction between your body moves and what you're saying. So this is why we're having this call. This is why we're having this conversation, to equip young adults on how to talk, how to communicate, how to relay your message in a way that you are not misunderstood, and you are not and you pass the information well, because communication is not complete until the other person fully understands and comprehends what the message you're trying to pass across. I mean, we all have our times of maybe you became a prefect, and then you are asked to come and read. I remember in my secondary school, you'll be you you'll be told that you'll be the one to lead, the assembly, right? And because of that, you're leading like 1,000 students across all levels of the secondary school, and then your heart is palpitating, like you said, and you're like, hope I will not tabo, hope I will not make grammatical error. I hope my dress is well ironed. I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing. We've all had those moments, and so basically, it's all about being able to handle those moments better. Even the best speakers in the world, whenever they want to address an audience, they feel nervous. Everyone says it, they feel nervous. But because they know how to manage their emotions and they know how to manage themselves at that point in time, they will be able to communicate better. The nerves will not get a hold of them, and they will be able to speak like they ought to. So it will look like, oh, this person is the best speaker. Whereas they were nervous before they got to the stage. They were nervous before they held the mic. In fact, the mic could have been shaking in their hands before by the time they started. But by the time they catch on, by maybe the fifth minute or the 10th minute of their conversation, it looks like they are the best speakers in the world. So I'm saying that even after we learn how we ought to learn into this class, and then you get ahead to talk to your class or talk to an audience of people, or talk to a group of people and you realize that you're being nervous, just know that nerves is a thing. It is natural. But will you allow it to get to you? No. So that's where you would actually have to manage your emotions, manage yourself, and deliver like you have been born to do. Okay, I think our tutor is back on the call. Can you hear me, Mr. Sam?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
I can hear you.
I think we lost you for a minute.
I'm so sorry about that.
It's okay.
I've I've been presenting and presenting.
Are you serious?
The network has kicked me out. All right,
uh,
so I think what I'll just do is that from time to time I'll confirm if I'm still on the call and
okay.
audible. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, please, can we hear me clearly now?
Yes, I can hear you. Breakthrough Kids, can you
Yes,
hear
sir.
us? Someone
Yes, I can.
typed that they
Where
can't
where
hear.
where was the last time you guys stopped hearing me?
Yes, labor prefects.
Oh my God. Okay. I present like 6 other slides. Sorry
Oh
about
my
that,
gosh,
people.
it's okay.
I try to
It's
monitor
okay.
my network. All right. So let me continue from here. Poinsettia, thank you for um holding the fort. So I was saying that my push into public speaking and interacting with people started when I was made the labor prefect in junior secondary school. This picture is like, I was trying to say that this picture is like 700 years ago, but this is just, I think this is around 2010, 2011, thereabout, and that's like one of my number one fears, speaking in front of people, interacting with people, coming out in public to say something. So, there are people that this is just very natural to them. In fact, they enjoy it. I don't know if there is anyone on the call. Maybe you are that kind of person. I salute you. I really salute you. And then the other second phase was in senior secondary school when I was made the head boy, and you can already see from my facial expression here, the way I'm putting my hand on my back, that head boy, go ginger. I was your typical. In fact, I remember I used to run away from assemblies, like, because as the head boy now, you'll be required to go to the assembly, make some announcements. Now the school, in fact, the vice principal insisted that I will be. I negotiated, pleaded, they insisted, but so I knew that this was actually a big problem. It was a challenge. It was something I really need to work on. And so what did I do? I began to intentionally work on myself. So this is the thing. There are people that will tell you that, oh, this is the way I'm born. I'm naturally not someone that will talk to people. I'm not your communicator. I can tell you for free that you can actually work on yourself. You don't have to be the Barack Obama kind of communicator, but you should be able to communicate your emotions and feelings effectively to people, because it is actually very essential. When I got to uni, I saw how essential it is. And I'll talk about some other things later on. But let me just, so I just wanted you to know that if you're on this call, you're very timid, you don't like talking in public, you don't like interacting with people, have been there. And I've been there, I survived it, I worked on myself, and I can tell you that you can actually make progress too. Please, can we see hear me? Can we see hear me and see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. So I think I spoke about this earlier, how communicating effectively can help. In schools, I don't know whether for some of us that are already in uni or you were once in uni, you realize that there are sometimes the lecturer wants to divide people into group to work on a particular project, and you are the one that will be negotiating and scheming your way to be in a particular group where one of your classmates is, because you know that in that group, if that guy or that lady is there in that group, there's no way you're going to be the one presenting, because that person is the life of the party, and if that person presents, your group will carry first, so to speak, or your group will pass the project, right? So there are those people that, they are always the one presenting project. They have a good rapport with the lecturers or teachers. In group work or assignment, people are always quick to call them in class. Oh, Tony, oh, what's the answer to this? And they are quick to stand up, shine their teeth to everyone in class, and just speak confidently. That is one of the ways communication help you. Communicating effectively. So along the line, I'll also be talking about confidence and all these things. I'll just loop everything together. But in schools, it can be very helpful. It can be very helpful. In the workplace, okay, maybe in this workplace, I'll just keep it because I know Kanisola will still speak, around this side. But I can tell you for free, I've worked with several companies over the last few years. And one of the things I know that employers take seriously is employees that can communicate effectively. Communicate effectively. See, let me tell you, if you know how to do a job very well, you are very good at a job, like you have the skill, and it's obvious that you have the skill, but you lack people's skill. And when I say people's skill now, communication is part of it. You do not know how to communicate with people. You cannot handle your team like you are supposed to lead a team. You don't know how to coordinate them. Employers will have issues with you. In fact, I've seen people that have been sacked before, not because they can't perform on the job, but because they are lacking this communication. They are lacking these skills. And I don't know if you have met anyone before, where, the person is very, very sound, but it's just that this person just have this, it seems to withdraw or just have these issues with communicating. It might be in families, it might be in your family, it might be your friend, it might be anywhere. So people are all around these serious issues, right? So it's something that we need to work on right now. And then relationships, imagine at home, I don't know, for some of us that you have like several siblings, maybe one of your siblings that just always have a way with mommy and daddy, anything he wants, there is always a way. You just speak and just present it and just fine-tune it to your parents, and they will be so wild, and they will just get, the person that, communication, being able to relate and interact with people. Relationship-wise, it helps you. There are some connection you will build by communicating effectively that are going to be the game changer for you in your career, in any way, so to speak, right? So let's move on. And then I'll just quickly speak about this now, because I've been saying I haven't told you what communication is, but I'm taking it for granted that you already are familiar with what communication is. This is actually what communication is on your screen. So for those that are not looking at their screen, try to look at your screen. So communication is you here, the sender. Let me go back. You, the sender, sending a message to someone else who is the receiver, right? But take note, the message you're sending is encoded in, messages are encoded, in the language, your orientations, your emotions, your culture. You send that message to the receiver, who has the responsibility of decoding that message. Of course, they also decode through the lens of their own language, their culture, their emotions, their attitudes. And then when they decode and understand that message, they give feedback to you, right? And based on the feedback they give to you, you continue the process. So the communication cycle is always ongoing. That is why you can't be communicating and someone will tell you something and then you say, okay, I have heard you and it's okay like that. I agree with you. That's not proper communication, because proper communication is when a message is sent to you, you decode the message, you give feedback based on that message. Somebody is telling you something, okay, I want you to do this particular thing, and then you might not even be hearing correctly. That's where the part of decoding, because there are a lot of things I mean, it has happened to me before. Growing up, they will tell me something. Samuel, go to the kiosk. There are always kiosks around the house. Go to the kiosk and buy this thing. Let's say, go and buy salt for us. Salt. And I say, okay. I will not wait and listen and hear and decode properly. And then I will run to the store and then I'll go and buy palm oil or egg. And then I will come back and say, but that's not what we told you. And I'm like, that's what I heard. But why can't you just confirm? Oh, you want me to buy salt? Okay, what kind of salt? How large? In what quantity do you want me to get it? Please, do you understand what I'm saying? If you get what I'm saying, please go to the comments and drop a message. Drop a message. I'm following. I get what you are saying. This has happened to me before. I am you when you were growing up, buying egg instead of salt. Please, let's keep our comments very, very lively. Let's keep it lively, right? And actually, I'm saying that because I also need to hear the message sound so that I know that I'm still on the call, instead of asking whether you can hear me all the time. So please keep the comments lively. But can we hear me? Are we still together?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Please always try to drop a message for me in the comments so that I know that we're together. So what I'm saying is communication loop is always ongoing. It's always ongoing. You send a message, the message gets to the receiver decode the message, give you feedback, and based on the feedback they give you, the message, you send another message and the loop continues. So communication is you being able to articulately communicate. Let's not do it that way. Communication is you being able to articulately pass across a message, and ensure that the receiver actually understand what you've passed across to them, right? So you have not effectively communicated if the receiver has not understood what you're saying. So don't just say, okay, Tony, please help me to tell your sister that she should be going now. And then you just run. Mommy say you should be going now. Okay, go where? Go to do what? Do you understand? So that's communication. Communication is we work with understanding when it comes to communication. We want to ensure that people really understand us. So quickly, let me just run through these. There are some very, very important pillars in being able to actually master effective communication. One of the things we speak about is your body language, active listening, clear speaking actually, I'll come back to that. Written clarity. Now, because of the advent of technology, and most of the communication we do these days are virtual. You are sending someone a WhatsApp message. In fact, WhatsApp is like the major communication channel for a lot of people these days, right? And then there was one decision I made to myself. I mean, I made that promise to myself while I was in secondary school, because at that time when WhatsApp initially was launched, we had group chats where people would be sending short code. You want to write thank you, you will write TNX. I know some of us on the call will still be doing that. Or you want to write a word and then you just find a way to shorten it. You just short it into 3 letters. And I made a promise to myself that I will not do that. So if I'm writing to you, I will actually type everything out. And it actually helped, because sometimes those short codes can be confusing, and some people that you think will understand are seeing something else and they are not even understanding. So in writing, you should be able to also communicate effectively. And I mean, this is like another discussion entirely. So we just keep that to heart. And then there are also non-verbal cues, your body language, your tone, your facial expressions. Okay, maybe someone tells you, oh, I just got admitted into the university. And you're like, oh, I'm so happy for you. And you know that people here, they see what you are saying, first of all, especially if you're speaking physically to people, before they even hear it. They see it. They look at you, and then they could tell and judge that, this thing is faked. What you are saying does not commensurate with your body language. Let's quickly move on. All right. So I spoke about body language, and it will interest you to know, as I said just now, that 70 to 93% of communication is non-verbal. Is non-verbal. So before you even speak, your body has told a lot of story. Your body language has told a lot of story, and people already understand what you are even trying to say, or have seems to, be able to predict and understand what you're trying to say even before you say it out. So for some of us that you are trying to speak, and then your posture also matters. The way you stand. You are asked to come to the front of the class or to front of the people and speak, and then you are just looking down, and then you are talking and you are talking. Trust me, people can see things, and people can tell that, oh, this person actually lacks confidence, even if what you are saying is sound powerful, but because you cannot interact directly with people, like just connect directly with people, that's like a huge problem. And then there is your gestures, as I'm saying, I'm doing hands like this. I'm trying to overdo it, right? Don't overdo it. But your gesture also matters. So you're talking and you fold your hand, like you fold your hand like this. Imagine someone is talking to you and fold their hands like this, right? You can imagine things, right? You can imagine. Please, are we still together? Can we hear me? Are we still together? Can you
Very well.
see the screen?
Very well.
All right. Okay. So, and then lastly, your your facial expression, which I already spoke about. So let's not dwell on that. Now, I want to quickly say something before I move on. And that's, what is the trajectory between, how do we interject tradition and exuding confidence? I'm Yoruba, and a lot of the time, because of the context and the place, the time, the culture you're from, you're trained in a particular way. When I was growing up, this is the way they trained me. When you see an elder or an adult or someone older than you do what? You prostrate. And prostrating here in Yoruba, is a show of respect, that you're actually respecting me. In other culture, it may not be the same, but in our culture in Yoruba, it's a show of respect. Now, imagine you not go to the workplace, they employed you and they say you should resume on Monday, and then you go to the workplace on Monday, and then you see your boss, and then you just prostrate, like lie down flat like this, right? In some instances, maybe your boss is also Yoruba, he understands. But let me tell you something. When it comes to corporate settings, there are some traditions you cannot transpose or translate or bring in, right? In corporate settings, in the workplace, you'll be doing a lot of handshakes. You'll be doing a lot of looking directly into the eyes of people to speak with them. In Yoruba culture, if an elder is talking, you do not look into their eyes, and or you cannot, you guys understand what I'm saying. Like, at least for those of you on the call, I want to believe, you don't look into the
Maybe.
eyes of an elder to what do you want to, what are you looking for there? I remember when I was growing up, they correct me, but you know, but you need to be confident, because in the workplace, you can't put your eyes down that, this my colleague is an elder, is older than me. So let me just put my eyes down and be talking. No, you need to be confident. You need to exude confidence. And it's part of communication. I'm saying it. The interpretation will be different in another context. In the context of your culture, they will hail you, oh, you are very respectful. They train that boy very well. But then you now get to the work setting, and then you are prostrating to everybody, and then you are doing, then you may actually become a walkover. So you must know how to switch. Like, you switch. You are in the family setting, you are in the work setting, you are also, I'm not saying that you should become arrogant, or I'm saying that you are confident, right? You are confident, you are able to shake people properly and look into their eyes, right? Stephen Covey said something. Stephen Covey is a writer. I think you should maybe one of the things I'll do, I'll probably drop one of his book on our group. So if you're not on our group, please just indicate in the comments. We'll still send information on how you can join the group later on, because we'll be sharing resources regarding this workshop on that group. Stephen Covey said that most people do not listen with the intent to understand, they listen with the intent to reply. And trust me, this is actually true. How many times is someone speaking, and you're already thinking about what you want to say, and you are not hearing what the person is saying, and that thing is actually not good. Active and intentional listening is you actually listening to understand. Remember, I said that the major commodity that is being exchanged during communication is understanding. You want to understand. So you are not just trying to, you actually want to understand what this person is saying. Please, are we still together? Are we following? So active listening is a core skill. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. So when you're actively listening, I think my time is actually far gone. Excuse me, just quickly want to confirm.
Let's say that
Okay.
You have less than 5
How many
minutes.
minutes do I have more?
You have less than 5.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. That's more than enough. Please just prompt me when my time is up. Coinsola, thank you. All right. Active listening is when you attend to what the person is saying. So this is more like a formula, ARA. You attend to what the person is saying, which means you put away your phone. Someone is talking to you and I'm listening to you now, and then you are pressing your phone, you are chatting on WhatsApp. You put away your phone, you look at the speaker, you give the speaker verbal cues to understand that you are actually following them by nodding, or you just show that you're actually with them, and then you reflect on what the person is saying, and then you can, that's why I said that feedback is a very important part of communication, because reflecting is you saying, okay, so what I've said now, this is what you're trying to say, Abby. Is this what you're trying to say? And then you ask questions, or ask open-ended questions, so as to understand exactly what people are saying, right? Active listening. And then one of the pillars I also spoke about is speaking clearly and concisely. You shouldn't be the person they call to come and speak, and then you use the lowest voice, the voice that is lower than the lowest. That people at the back will not hear you, and then you use that kind of voice. You shouldn't be that person. Confidence should always exude, and you can actually learn it. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that even if that's not the way you are naturally, it is something that you can learn. Because trust me, you might be one day be like this guy. Maybe you are asked to come speak before the United Nations or present a subject and something, and then you need to actually be able to articulate your point. You are not rambling. One of the things people do these days, which I still do sometimes, is you are talking and I say, okay, try to cut down as much as possible on, they call them filler words. Sometimes it's unavoidable, it just comes out, right? But try to pause, take a silence, and go on before you continue. And then I want to quickly say something, which is what communication. When you are communicating, you can either be the person who is passive, or you're the person who is aggressive, or you're the person who is assertive, right? Now, when you are passive, you are the person that, I agree with everything everybody has been saying since morning. I agree with everything. So everybody else win, but you lose, because you actually are not communicating your mind, because deep down in your mind, you have some reservations, but you don't want to talk about them. Or you are aggressive, which means it's either your way or the highway. Everybody must understand my own point and follow my own point. So you will ensure that you win and everybody else is lose. So we can see the quadrant here. You are aggressive, you win, but everybody else is lose. And then you can be passive aggressive, which means, well, when it comes to you, you're like, okay, let's do it, let's go along. Or sometimes you switch in between being passive and being aggressive, But the right way about it is being assertive. So what does being assertive means? It means that you are expressing your thoughts, you are expressing your needs, you are expressing your boundaries. Sometimes people need to understand that, okay, no, I cannot do this. No, I can't do this. No, this is not who I am. You are letting people understand what goes and doesn't go with you, right? And that creates a mutual respect. So people understand, no, don't try that with Tony, or no, he will not agree to that, right? People already have an understanding. So be the assertive person. Always, every single time, be assertive. And being assertive again does not mean you are arrogant, does not mean you are bullying everybody. It just means you are standing on your own terms. You are standing on your own terms, right? And then there's a formula. I wish I can actually I would have loved to take time with this, but there are some times where we feel very you find it difficult to communicate your emotions properly. And this like a formula that can actually help. So instead of telling someone you are always annoying every single time, you are annoying, you are always, instead of using always to people, you can use this formula instead. When you do this thing this way, I feel, and then you express your emotion, I feel frustrated. And when you do this, I feel frustrated. And then you now say, because when you do this, you come late. Okay, this is the example I gave you. I feel frustrated when you come late because we missed the start of the movie. So you are not being emotional, but you are actually articulating your emotion properly. And then already I spoke about handshake as a very important tool in communication. You're shaking someone. You are not your hand is not like banana leaf. Like, you shake firmly. You are not pressing the person's hand, though, because we used to do that when we're in school. You shake someone there, but you want to break the person. No, that's not what I'm saying. You shake firmly and you look directly into the person's eye. And then I spoke about switching earlier, and
Hello,
here
sir.
again, like,
Hello, sir.
can you? Yes.
Can you hear me? Your time
Yes.
is up.
Okay. All right. Can I have like 2 minutes to wrap up? Is that okay?
All right then.
All right, thank you. All right, so you are able to switch. You are amongst friends. You know how to talk. My guy, how far now? How are you doing? And then you're in a corporate setting. You know how to also relate. Oh, good morning, sir. Oh, you know how to switch when the time comes. There's a challenge I will have want us to do. Like, just in the next 24 hours, you are actually listening to what people are saying. You are not trying to listen so that you can speak in return, and then you're asking open-ended questions. And then so that, remember that primary school picture. Now picture it here. This is me on the state theater at Wole Soyinka Theater in UI. We were acting a drama. These days I find it very easy to do things like acting drama and doing all these things. If you are lacking confidence, because confidence is a very important tool in communication, just ask God. I'm a Christian, so I believe that, and this is one of the things that actually helped me. And I believe that it's something that can also help you. Just pray and ask God that, God, just help me. I want to be confident. And sometimes what I do before I speak in the public, I say a little prayer. God, give me words. And then you go. And then you realize that you are saying things that even you yourself, you are like, oh wow, that sounds okay. God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. So yeah, has God, and just learn this thing. You can learn it. That's not who you are. You can change, you can be better, you can communicate effectively.